Thereafter, Thursday, Friday into the start of the weekend, apart from a few showers around, it looks like higher pressure could bring increasing amounts of sunshine, so calming down towards the end of the week. Jane.
Sam, thank you very much indeed. Thank you. And that is the BBC News at 1 for today. You can keep up to date with all those stories, of course, on our website. But here on BBC One, the news continues. Of course, it's time to catch up with everything wherever you are this afternoon. Have a very good afternoon from all of us. Bye-bye.
Welcome to BBC London this lunchtime. I'm Victoria Cook. There's growing concern that the HS2 project is to be cut short, with the line ending in Birmingham and not Manchester as planned. In London, the line was due to run all the way into Euston, but work there has been paused and it may end at Old Oak Common in West London. Our reporter Alpa Patel asked Prime Minister Rishi Sunak how this could impact Londoners.
The Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, has written to you in a letter. He says if the Euston leg of the journey is scrapped and it ends at Old Oak Common, then the new journey between Birmingham and Euston would take just as long, if not longer. What do you say to that?
Again, we've put record sums into investing in transport infrastructure around the country, improving the connections between our cities, improving the quality of our trains, but also improving the journeys that people take most often, making sure that we fix potholes, improve local bus services. All of these things are important. We're investing record sums in that because we need good transport infrastructure, because that's how people are getting around, that's how they're getting to work, it's how we drive growth in our economy and spread opportunity.
When will we hear a decision on HS2?
And so we've got spades in the ground on HS2, and we are absolutely focused on delivering it, getting it delivered, and making sure that we keep an eye on the costs as well, because that's important.
But work is suspended at Euston.
Well, that's been for a while because there's designs that need to be design work that needs to be undertaken to make sure that the plans for Euston are robust. Obviously, people will be well aware of some of the concerns around cost and design there, so those things are ongoing as we speak.
But there are people living on a building site as we speak, waiting for a decision.
Yeah, I understand. Look, the HS2 has caused enormous disruption to many communities. It's important the HS2 works with local communities to minimise that disruption as they're doing their work, and they are held accountable for that. And it's absolutely right that we continue to hold them accountable to minimise that disruption while the work is ongoing.
Well, that was the Prime Minister speaking about HS2. But of course, the other developing story in the last 24 hours is that armed Met police officers have been turning in their permits that allow them to carry weapons. The Met said some were worried over the decision to charge an armed officer with the murder of Chris Cather, who was shot in Streatham Hill last year. The Prime Minister has been responding to this too.
When they're using these lethal powers, it's important that they do so with confidence and with legal clarity. And that's why that the Home Secretary has asked the department to review the guidance that we have that governs all of this to ensure that it commands the confidence of police officers and the wider public.
But several firearms officers have stepped back from duty over this. We're hearing as many as 100. How concerned are you about this situation?
Well, there are existing plans in place, as the Home Secretary has outlined, for the Army, if needed, to provide some backup support, which is completely normal, and those procedures are in place to keep everyone safe. Everyone should be reassured that there is no diminution of our ability to keep the public safe. That remains of paramount importance, and that's what the Home Secretary and the team are delivering.
The Prime Minister speaking to BBC London. Next, some of the capital's top universities will be affected by a 5-day strike, which begins today. Members of the University and College Union at around 10 institutions have walked out. It's part of a long-running dispute over pay and working conditions. Thomas McGill has more.
Well, there are certainly plenty of students here on campus at the University of Greenwich today, and that's the situation at many institutions across the capital. But for some, 10 universities, in fact, members of the University and Colleges Union have started 5 days of continuous industrial action over pay and conditions. But it's not the only reason.
Key reasons are the falling value of our wages over the last 10 years. We've lost 25% of the value of our wages. The cost of living crisis has intensified this fall in the value of wages. We have horrendous workloads across the sector, including at Greenwich, which means that academics are getting stressed. going on stress leave, and just struggling with the workloads.
Well, staff tell us they have the support of students here at the University of Greenwich, but it's certainly not a great start to students' academic year. Now, the University of Greenwich have told us that there are plans in place to minimise the impact of this industrial action on students, and that teaching will continue as usual next week. But for now, there will be disruption as these lectures begin 5 days of industrial action.
In a statement, the University and Colleges Employers Association said it's working with the unions to resolve the matter. Now, it's 3 years since Sergeant Matt Ratner was shot dead at a custody centre in Croydon. His family are remembering him at a private event today, but some of his friends have taken part in a memorial walk to celebrate his life and raise funds for the foundation set up in his name. They spoke to our Home Affairs correspondent, Sonia Jessup.
Yeah, good luck. Just keep going, remember what the charity's for, and do him proud.
With those words, they set off to walk 85 miles over 3 days in memory of the friend they lost.
Kia ora. Welcome to East Grinstead Rugby Football Club.
Matt Ratner was well loved in the world of rugby and in the Met Police. He was months away from retirement when he was shot dead in the line of duty. 3 years on, his friends are on a memorial walk through some of the spots he loved.
We've been sharing our memories of Matt because obviously we've come from different parts of his life, and well, to have him with us, I feel in some ways that he is with us.
Their route takes them through Sussex to the streets of South London and the Croydon Custody Centre where Sergeant Ratner lost his life. This memorial created after other officers sent in tributes to their fallen colleague.
This is about support, and everyone has donated their epaulettes to make this.
Speaking to individuals who worked with him on a daily basis and having their stories makes it even more real that he was a colleague who was respected and loved.
The walk also aims to raise funds for the foundation set up in Matt Ratner's name. They work with young people in Croydon, introducing them to rugby and a community of mentors. Many they support live with the fear of knife crime, including one teenager whose friend was recently stabbed.
And he said, you know, I would have been there if I hadn't been here. And I nodded. And then he added, that could have been me. And that is the reality.
For those who can't join the walk, they've showed support in other ways.
Are we jumping on board or are we going alongside you?
After around 14 hours of walking, finally, New Scotland Yard.
So many people came to the Croydon Custody Suite to pay their respects. One of them who left a note was somebody who had been arrested, had been a detainee within the police station, and they remembered Matt for how Matt dealt with them. And I think that really does epitomise who Matt was as the character.
His life touched a lot of people without him realising it and without them realising it. The people Matt left behind, that they have to deal with it every day, and all we have to do as part of the foundation is to just drive it forward and make sure that we carry on changing people's lives the way he did.
Sonia Jessup, BBC London.
Time for a look at the weather now. Here's Kat.
Hello there, good afternoon too. It does look to be rather settled through this afternoon. There'll be decent sunny spells around and it will fall warm. With a cold front working its way through tomorrow, some potentially heavy and thundery showers tomorrow morning. And this deepening area of low pressure named Storm Agnes will bring windy conditions for us overnight on Wednesday. So here's your picture through this afternoon. It does look to be largely dry. There'll be some decent sunny spells around. Winds coming from a southwesterly direction, and we're looking at highs of around 23 in Celsius. It will fall warm. Now through this evening, we'll start off on a dry note with lengthy clear spells, but overnight cloud amounts will increase. You can just see a few showers pushing in for those further west. Temperatures will fall away to around 12 degrees and those winds will fall light. Tomorrow morning, we'll start off on a mild note with plenty of cloud, some potentially heavy and thundery showers, but these will be quite quick to clear. So through the afternoon, it'll be drier, it'll be brighter, and there'll also be some decent sunny spells around. A bit on the breezy side though tomorrow. We're looking at highs once again at around 23 in Celsius. Wednesday, after a clear start, it will turn increasingly cloudy through the rest of the day with spells of rain, windiest conditions for us overnight on Wednesday.
Well, that's all from us here on the Lunchtime team. Riz Latif will be here with our main bulletin at 6:30, so I hope you can join her for that. But for now, have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.
welcome to breakfast.
Thanks for joining us.
Good morning to you. Great to have you.
Hello.
Good morning.
Morning, Johnny.
Hey there.
I'm so